Welcome back into the ASUG News studio. My name is Tom Wilgum. I'm co-editorial director of asugnews.com. Well, we're delighted to have two powerhouse guests in here. Really happy. Thanks, guys, for coming by.
Pleasure.
Over there, we've got Mark Hudson. He is the CEO of Antivia.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And our old friend, Donald MacCormick, who is the Chief Product and Marketing Officer for Antivia. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good to be back again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So let's talk. This conference has actually been a lot of cool themes coming out. Maybe let's start some of those themes that you're hearing, and then we'll dive into some of the presentations you guys did, because you did some great dashboarding. Maybe start, Donald, what's the kind of one thing you're going to take away from this and that you would let people watching who aren't here know what's happening?
So I think one of the things I'm taking away from here is it's sort of something that Adam said yesterday on the All Access. He was talking about his vision for tools into the future, and he was sort of saying that he felt in 5 years, so he asked the question, in 5 years' time, will there be more tools or fewer tools? And he said, I think there will be fewer tools, but with broader functionality between them. And we're sort of seeing some of that happen here with visual intelligence and that catering for the self-service audience and sort of the people with analyst in their title.
Right.
And at the other end, I think we're seeing a re-emergence of the Excelsius product. The HTML5 capability that they're demonstrating here, which is due for the end of the year, is pivotal in the life of Excelsius. Gets it onto the iPad, and it's something that we've been doing. There's been this question mark around HTML5 and will it be capable of doing sophisticated dashboards? And obviously as a product, our product lives inside Excelsius, so we've been doing prototyping of our stuff to put it inside the HTML5 version, and we're staggered by the results. That's what we're being shown in our stand, is you can get a 10,000 row dashboard that drills and all this sort of stuff in HTML5 on the iPad. So the fact that technology is living up to the billing and the fact that SAP are close to delivering that I think is a big, as I say, a pivotal point in the history of Excelsius, which is great because it's ebbed a little in the last sort of couple of years, as it hasn't moved maybe as quickly as it should have, but I think we're about to see that take up. And the whole dashboard thing is also, the whole market is changing from these sort of dashboards you could hang on your wall and just say, oh, that's what's happening. Dashboards are now things that look more like BI applications. People want to click on them, say what's underneath. They use it to run a business rather than just see what's happening at the high level. And that was another theme for us. We had a customer speaking here. It was great to see a finance guy who was creating dashboards for his CFO. So it was like double self-service.
Right.
And the great thing about a BI app, a dashboard as a BI app, is he was asked the question, how much training do you have to give your CFO to run this dashboard? And he said, none. It was just because it's written with words and gestures that he understands. So a finance guy writing for a finance guy, it's not a general ad hoc tool, because busy and that stuff's great, but not for a CFO. So this guy created this thing that his CFO now just, I want to see this, I want to see that, and it's very natural. In fact, the comparison I would use most is they look like apps on an iPad. You've never read the training manual for an iPad app. Right. And so these BI apps are the same. They're just focused on a task and people can just use them for what they do. And seeing Excelsius come, it's always been a great tool for doing that, and seeing this new lease of life breathed into it, I think is a great thing to see in the market.
Okay. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, I think I would agree with Donald. I think this year more than any year, there's been much more focus from customers talking about how do I get my content onto the mobile device, whether it is iPad, whether it's Android-based devices. And we've had a lot of people come to our stand and talk to us about their biggest concern being, we've got a lot of content, we've got a lot of dashboards, we've got a lot of pre-packaged reports, and what our users are saying to us is, what I really want is this content today on this device. You know? And the great thing about ASUG 2012 is that there are a number of vendors here who can help with that. And we've been flat out showing people demonstrations of how they can take an Excelsius dashboard today and deliver it natively onto the iPad for their users, which is a cool thing to show.
And I think one of the important things Mark was saying in his session yesterday is that the whole mobile market, I mean, who knows what's going to happen at noon today when Apple announced the 5? What sort of magic are they going to reveal, or are they not going to do anything, and is it going to give Samsung a boost or something? The whole thing is in so much flux that you can't say, well, I'm going to wait for it to settle down, because it's not going to settle down anytime soon. And so you can't, even if you said, my strategy is to redevelop my content in what's going to be the winner, I think it's impossible to tell what that is. So you have to say, I've got all this content, I'll keep going with So we're doing the Flash stuff. Flash is probably not the answer, but we've got lots of content. We'll deliver that. A bit of HTML5 when it comes out, but it won't be able to do all of this. There's no point in trying to do this. So it's like making the best of what we have for the time being.
Right.
And typically, sort of people don't like that. It feels a bit messy. But the market is messy, so the question is, get what you have out there, get it used, and naturally over the next 2 years, things I think will settle down. But there's no way people can wait till it's settled, because you just have to, it's a market that's moving quickly, driven by demands from senior people coming, look, I've got my own device, I want you to put it on here, and and that's one of the beauties of HTML5, is not only does it seem to do the job, but it's basically cross-platform. You're not writing for every single one. And notwithstanding the fact that Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg yesterday said he thought that HTML5 was the biggest mistake they ever made. And I understand why for Facebook, but I think for dashboards, I think it is a near perfect technology.
Isn't it amazing that an Apple announcement will have impact on an event like this? I mean, 5-10 years ago?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They have such a hold on the market today.
Right.
The iPad represents 70% of the tablet market.
Right.
But the interesting fact is, if you look at the smartphone market, 68% of the smartphone market is actually Android.
Right.
So organizations are in a bit of a quandary. Some have standardized on Apple, on iPad. Some have a bring your own device policy that they're looking to roll out. And devices and new vendors, new entrants to the market are coming out almost on a daily, weekly basis. Right. Who's to say that this time next year we're all sitting here and there might not be a brand new device that everyone loves and it's going to be the next great thing.
Right.
And the challenge for software vendors such as SAP, Antivia, is how do we continue to develop software that is supported on all these devices? And that's, as Donald said, where standards like HTML5 come into play, because you can create ones and deploy many.
So, but you can also understand customers' reluctance to dive in, right? As you said, like, so what's your advice to kind of get people to put their toes in the water, because they don't want to make a big mistake, but
I think, as Mark was saying, I think there are ways of, you don't have to choose a strategy now and make huge investments. With the products that SAP have, the products that we have, and other partners around this room, there are relatively straightforward ways to get started. Which will take your existing content, provided you believe that there's a value in taking content and putting it on a device, then I think we can all show there's a return on value, even if you only did that for a year. And so do something now, try it out, get it on there. Maybe choose one device. Maybe you have to choose one device and say we're going to sort of not standardize on iPads, but if you have an iPad, you get a bit more for us as a business. And so I think there are many ways in which people can go forward on this. What I think my advice would be to guard against the idea of having to have a settled, future-proof policy before you get started, because actually then you're not going to start for it. But the interesting thing, you talked about Apple, and for me, and it goes back to something I said earlier, the biggest effect I think that the tablet market and the smartphone market has had is the app. The reason I bought an iPad is just it's a fantastic piece of, I was seduced by the Apple marketing machine. But the reason I keep it is for the apps. It does so many things. It's the reason people carry it around is it does my calendar, it does my email, I can look up train times, I can get sports results. Like Andy Murray, my countryman, won the US Open. It's fantastic. I watched that happen on my iPad. And it's it's just this device that is the window to so many worlds. And it has a great analogy for business intelligence, because everyone says, well, ad hoc query self-service is what you want. Well, it's some of what you want, and in the way that on my iPad, sometimes I go to Google for search, but I don't go to Google for weather, I go to the BBC app. I don't go to Google for train times, I do the train time app for whatever, and for my BI. And it's those apps that I think we will see people deliver business intelligence in app-sized chunks, exactly like mobile apps. A, because that's the right functionality, and B, because they have to live alongside other mobile apps. And if you pull past everything that's going on for business intelligence, I think that is the biggest way of the change in my way of thinking about BI, which has been precipitated by the whole mobile thing.
Okay.
I agree.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I think we'll also see a unification between the desktop and the mobile devices as well. As Donald says, these small bite-sized chunks of application that a CFO, senior VPs can go onto their mobile device and go and get some information about the P&L, go and get some information about a balance sheet. but at the same time, they want probably the same user experience, but delivered to them on their laptop or on a desktop machine. We don't want users to go from desktop and then to a completely new interface on the mobile device.
But wait, I got to get to some questions.
Go ahead.
I think I've asked one question.
That's right.
All right.
It's your show. I think.
Well, kind of. So, for now. What is one thing you wanted to hear from SP this week that you didn't, or maybe you didn't hear that you're looking for more information now? Like, you talked a little bit about stuff that they did say, but I'm wondering what are you looking for more from them right now?
So, as a CEO of Antivia, the number one thing that I didn't hear this week, and I may still hear this week, is I've heard some great stuff around Excelsius HTML5, and like Donald, I believe it's going to breathe a new lease of life into a great product. But what I want to hear as a SAP partner is that they're going to support the SDK for that, and we're going to be able to deliver our great technology that we deliver to large amounts of organizations around the world into the new HTML5 world, both in Excelsius and also in SAP Design Studio, or Zen as it's the project name. And that is something that I haven't heard, and I want to get to the bottom of, because it's important to SAP partners like ourselves who extend and enhance the value of SAP products, that we continue to innovate with inside their solutions.
Okay.
And so for me, I mean, you're always going to get a very dashboard-focused response from us because that's where we live. Right. And for me, I think number one would be like Mark's, when we're talking to the SAP guys, and they know an SDK is important, but it's a fact of life. SDKs come second to end user functionality because you don't get money for SDKs. It's a second level thing. But we talk to them and assured it's coming. It's just a question of when. Over that, one thing that I would like to hear more about is there was a statement of direction about the new Zen product and Excelsius, and I completely understand this is like 3 years out when they're saying they're going to merge. Right. And it's 3 years out, and having been in product management most of my life, it's sort of, you don't want to say too much about what's happening 3 years out because it's a real hostage to fortune. But 6 months in, I would like to hear a little more about their gut feel about, okay, we're 6 months in, we've done some prototyping, it's probably going to look like this, don't hold us to it. But I was talking to Adam yesterday, and it feels like they're on the verge of being able to give us more of a feel for that. And again, for me, I've lived and breathed Excelsius for 10 years. I think it's one of the most innovative products in the marketplace. And I mean, it's up there with Excel and DBase 3 and all these sort of things. It should be an iconic product in the marketplace. And I just want to see all these things. The thing that's undermining it at the moment is people start saying, well, I don't understand its future. HTML5, great boost for that. And then the next thing is, how does it come together with Zen? Having talked to them, I get a feel that actually there's a great story there. I was talking to Ian Mayer, the product manager and the solution manager, who you can feel that his vision for it is robust, but it's just getting the next level of detail and getting that out to people so that they see this and feel it and say, we can use this product, it's great, because if they don't, then it makes it harder in the market for everyone.
I know I got to let you guys go, but you both done sessions. What's the level or range of questions that you're getting from customers when it comes to dashboards? I mean, are they having kind of confusing? I mean, you guys are steeped in this, but you get people who are not as steeped. What's the kind of questions you're getting? What are their big concerns these days that you're hearing?
So in my session, we asked a few questions about who are looking at, who have SAP dashboards on mobile today? And there were very few. There are a few hands. The biggest show of hands, over 78% in the audience, are looking at delivering content, business intelligence content, onto mobile devices within the next 9 to 12 months. And that's what they're here to do. They're here to learn about that. They're doing their research. They're investigating into techniques to do that. And the majority of the questions stemmed around, how am I going to do that? What's it look like? What's my user interface going to look like? Do I have to retrain my users? Am I going to have to rebuild my content? What we showed them and what we discussed is how you can deliver content today onto the iPad. So I think a lot of them are very much looking for quick solutions, tactical solutions. As Donald said, building a BI mobile strategy today is probably something you want to be thinking at 24 months out. You want to really satisfy your user pain that you have now, which is, why haven't I got this on my iPad? And that's what their C-level executives are saying to them. Is, I have it on my desktop and it's great. Why is it not there? And that's, the majority of the people who came up to me after my session saying, I hear you, because that's the pain I'm getting when I go back to base, and that's why I'm here. So.
Right.
And I think for me that it's the fact that, I mean, mobile's clearly a big thread in all of this, but also the fact that what Excelsius or SAP dashboards has allowed people, the reason it was so innovative is it took this flash style visualization, which just, people just they see it and they want something like that. And it combines it with the Excel layer, which allows non-programmers to create these custom interfaces. So they can do anything with them. It's not like I get 4 panes and that's it. I can put buttons, I can lay out, I can make things appear and disappear. And that's what led this sort of, revolution's a much overused word, but this migration to BI apps. So Excelsius started in a world where people just want to have an overview, and now the tool itself has pulled them towards these more interactive dashboards that give users ability to navigate their data, push buttons to get sort of like, I want to see products, push button, product analysis appears, so it's easy to use. And what we see, not so much here, but in the marketplace, every day, is people saying, but the trouble is, those sort of interactive dashboards, I can make the front end, but making the data interactivity in Excelsius is hard work. The Excel spreadsheet gets big, I get lots of formulas, I need lots of data connections, it performs slowly. And for me, at the heart of what we need to do with Excel, and it's something that we do, and we're working with SAP to try and help them do it, is solve that problem. Okay. So that we can, because if we don't solve that problem, my worry is that all the rest of the innovation in Excelsius gets lost because other people go, well, this product over here isn't as nice as everything else Excelsius does, but at least I can get my data managed. And it's going to be a year out before that starts to happen. It's got a lot of time to fix it, but for me, that's what people are saying. They're saying it's just hard work to do this.
Right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in. Talking with you was great. I need to get a cool accent like you guys. I'll work on that. I appreciate your time.
You just come over to England, then you've got a cool accent.
Right. For more videos with SAP executives and ASUG news makers, check out asugonline.com as well as our YouTube page on ASUG TV. And thank you for watching.